Startup businesses for you, and I'd like to give you some brief ideas as to the legal structures that are available for a new business and how you might go about deciding how to structure a business. There are three basic issues that that business owners have to determine in terms of what type of legal structure they want to use for their new business. These issues are liability, that is, what liability do you have as a business owner, personal liability do you have in running your business? Secondly, what type of taxation structure are you going to operate under? And while taxation is not an issue that we can go into in any great depth, it is an important issue when you start talking about how you want to run your business. And the third issue that you have to make, at least give some thought to, is how is your business going to be financed? And with those thoughts in mind, let me give you a general idea of the types of business structure that are most prevalent in terms of current legal issues. These days, the most popular form of business is what's called a limited liability company, or LLC. It is a business that you can operate as a single member, or you can operate with multiple owners. The other form of business, which is mostly used in these days, is a corporation, but normally known as a subchapter S corporation. The general purpose of that being to make sure that you get the benefit of the lowest possible taxation that you can obtain. Now, both of those organizations, both a limited liability company and a subchapter S corporation, have liability protections, so that as long as you are operating your business in one of those legal forms, your personal liability for actions of the business is limited. The other major issue with entity selection is what type of taxation, as we've earlier mentioned. A limited liability company and a subchapter S corporation are taxed as if it was an individual running the business. Other types of corporations are taxed both at the business level and at the ownership level, which, as you might imagine, is a very disadvantageous way to operate your business. Many of you, if there are folks listening in who are already running a business, my guess is that you may be running it as what is called a sole proprietor. And that is that you pay taxes from the business on your individual income tax return, which is a fine way to operate, except, as we earlier mentioned, you don't have any liability protection in that form. The third issue that I'd like to bring up is how you're going to finance your business. The issue comes up generally in the context of having a third party, that is, someone who is investing money in your business. And if that is the case, then that person will generally want you to be a corporation rather than a limited liability company. Now, once you're in business, there are certain contracts and agreements which you should have and should be considering. The first comes up if the business has more than one owner. For example, if you and a friend or you and another family member are starting the business, then the two of you will need to have an agreement that establishes what each owner is contributing to the business. That is, if you're putting money in, if you're putting other forms of property into the business, including intellectual property such as patents, trademarks, or copyrights. The agreement among the owners will decide how much each of those contributions is worth and what percentage of the ownership you will have in return for that contribution. Other issues in such an agreement will be who will be running the company, who will be the officers, whether you have one or more owners as members of the board of directors, what happens if the company terminates, what happens if one of the owners wishes to leave the company and go work in another job. All of those issues should be covered in an initial ownership agreement. Other contracts that you should be interested in looking into one, employment agreements for any person that you hire as an employee, even or an independent contractor for that matter. There should be a written agreement establishing what that person will be paid, what benefits they will be receiving, what protections they will give to the business for any inventions, patents, any trademarks that they might have a part of. All of those assets should be owned by the business and not by the individual employee. Other contracts that will be of importance to you will be with your customers, suppliers, distributors, if you have products that you are distributing by third parties. And customers will want to know, have some contract with you as to what your deliverables will be, the timing of the contracted for services or products, and other items that will be important to enter into contracts and agreements. And we can talk about those later, and we welcome your phone calls. Thank you.
Thanks, Carter.